We're back with Contra Hardcore. We got Hashtag running the chase/surrender category, and for commentary we have Mike Yama.
Hello.
Yeah, so we can start. So timing in this game is a little bit weird. Like you start the timer when your character touches the ground after he jumps out of the bus.
Yeah, it's like Speed Demo's archive timing when you gain control of the character. So.
Yeah, so I screwed up a little bit, but that's right. Like if I die here, it's not a big deal at all. Well, this is probably the hardest stage in the entire game.
Yeah, so actually, like, collecting the weapons here while still maintaining forward motion is actually pretty difficult. It's worth noting that Pashtet is playing on the Japanese version, and the main difference between the US and Japanese version is that you get, you don't die in one hit like you do in most Contra games in the Japanese version. You actually get a health bar, which you can see by those 3 squares on the left. Pashtet is on his last hit, so he doesn't want to get hit anymore because, as you know, in classic Contra fashion, if you get hit on whatever weapon you're currently holding, you lose, and he really doesn't want to lose the charged shot weapon. It's the most powerful weapon for Fang, and he's going to use a weapon switching trick with it once he gets the B weapon.
Sorry for interrupting you, I just found out that I actually soft reset it and I have my 70 lives cheat code active. Like, that's not actually gonna change anything, but this run pretty much not valid if you're gonna submit it anyway.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that because I was like, pretty sure the Japanese version you only get 3 lives like the US version. But it's fine, it doesn't really affect gameplay. I guess you could call it a marathon safety. Yeah, so now that he has the B weapon, he's constantly switching between the B and the D, so they both use the same animation. When the game gets kind of confused when you switch from the B weapon to the D weapon, and because they have the same animation, the game just assumes that like your D weapon is fully charged up as you switch to the animation, so you get instantly charged shots, which, as you can see, are very, very powerful without clicking the first class button. And you're gonna see that not entirely throughout the run, but it is going to be what is going to be doing the bulk of the work, which means Pashtet, if he thinks he's going to die, which, you know, who knows, you know, it's a marathon run, would want to have a weapon equipped if he thinks he's going to die, because even though it would be bad to lose that weapon, it would be much less bad losing that weapon than either B or D.
Yeah, I want to equip the AO bomb, because you don't actually lose the bomb if you die. But if I'm gonna... I screwed up again. So I guess no flashy kill on this boss either, but that's right.
All good. Anyway, the other thing is that you'll notice that he doesn't have the C weapon equipped. That's because it interrupts with the rhythm of the weapon switching, so he really doesn't want to collect any weapons at this point, unless if it's to collect bombs.
Yeah, even the bomb is not beneficial, because you actually wanna use the bomb at the start of every fight. It saves you like 1 or 2 charge shots depending on the amount of damage you actually dealt prior. And it's not beneficial to keep it because it screws up
because it messes with your rhythm because you have to switch through it. That makes sense. So this is one of the few uses of a weapon. It's a pretty decent, like, spread-ish shot, you know, like rapid shot with Fang. Does decent damage, and it's just good for when you need to shoot at stuff full screen. Yeah, so probably right now is a good time to talk about characters. Well, So you can see he's getting a bomb. He's going to use it on the boss right here. And right now is a good time to talk about the character. So Fang is the strongest character in the game because of the charge shot weapon switch trick. Uh-oh. Yeah, so unfortunately, Pashtet took a death there because he was slightly too close to that barrier. You don't want to be at point-blank range with that barrier because then it's a little weird. Your shots will start to miss it. But anyway, Pashtet still has the two most important weapons, so he's still in good standing. And the only problem with Fang is that he has a really tall hitbox, so there's certain things that he can get hit by that like some of the other shorter characters don't get hit by. And also, you're constantly switching weapons and doing inputs with them, so like, you know, doing all of the fastest tech with him is honestly a pretty strenuous and execution-heavy run. And this is Neumann Cascade, the hacker, and you're here to stop him in cyberspace. And as with every other boss, you know, you just shot him to death. The thing about this game and a lot of the other Contra games made by this director, Nobuya Nakazato, is that he is big on big bosses with, like, you know, very patterned attacks and that are very, I would say, phase-based. Like, they go through their patterns, and even if you kill them sometimes, they still have to, like, go through a certain point in their patterns, too, before they can die. Alright. So, now Pashtet is in the jungle, and chasing down Colonel Bahamut.
This is a little bit of a tricky spot.
Yeah.
So I got all those flies like in one hit. Sometimes you don't hit them all with one hit and you have to choose around them, and that's pretty annoying, like that's taking a little bit of time. So this boss, I want him to actually grab this bridge.
Yeah, this boss, it's pretty random. It'll usually do certain actions like this, but occasionally it can turn red like that right away and fire at you. But fortunately, he got the luck that he wanted with the boss grabbing the bridge. These roly-polies kind of spawn at fixed locations. I can't remember if it's completely fixed or if it's dependent on your positioning.
It's completely fixed.
Okay.
This guy right here, this little dinosaur, if you slide, he'll actually breathe fire, and you'll die instantly, like regardless of the version you're playing. Because
if you hit the dinosaur, like he'll like blow energy snot at you or something, and it kills you. And sliding into bosses counts as a hit. So this boss has a couple of patterns. They don't matter too much with Fang because he has the energy shot. And with this form of the boss, you just want to be close, but not so close that when he walks, he runs into you. And at this point, you're just trying to snipe the boss out.
So the same thing I was talking about before, like the dinosaur breathing fire will kill you instantly. But the same thing actually applies to those plants. If you touch the stem, you'll instantly die.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad.
Alright. So, so what happens here depends on the route you chose for stage 2. So after you defeat the first boss, you can either chase after Deadeye Joe, which is what Pashtet did, or you can help out the lab and rescue the doctor from the lab. If you rescue the doctor, then Deadeye Joe is still alive here, and he's like, you can't beat me. It's still pretty much the same boss fight, but you get just a little more cutscene. This fight is essentially just a very long auto-scroller. There's very little to the actual fight, and you're really just trying not to be too bored here, or get it so that it's just straight the helicopter's constantly scraping along the walls, unless trying to make it a little spicy for spice things up.
Yes, like if you're playing this game for the first time, this chase sequence is pretty cool. It's pretty intense, but
yeah,
the second time around, it actually loses all of its appeal. Like the only difference if you choose the lab, like it shows you a little cutscene at the beginning of the stage, and
and you see Deadeye Joe.
Yeah, you see Deadeye Joe, but he'll actually would start fire his rockets much sooner, like right about here.
Okay. So yeah, that's phase 2 of the boss.
Like as you can see, he's like crawling, but if I was to choose the left, he would start shooting rockets.
So yeah, when it comes to this game, there's the character categories, because the characters are all played quite differently, and then there is the path you choose categories, and that's dependent on where you go for the second stage, and then whether you decide to fight or surrender right after defeating this boss. And those two choices will determine your end game, essentially. Your second stage and your end game.
Yeah, there's, I believe, like 5 endings depending on your depending on what path you choose and a secret ending.
Yep.
But
there's
5 real endings.
4 default. Yeah, there's the 4 like paths you can choose from the 2 choices I mentioned, and then there's the secret ending, which is a much shorter run.
Yeah. So
this is the part where, oh no, it's an ambush, it's a setup, and the doctor and the colonel have you trapped, and this is where you can choose to fight or surrender, and we're gonna choose to surrender because that's what this category is, and it's also the shortest main path of all the paths, because unlike a lot of the other paths, you only get 1 stage if you choose this path. Most of the other paths have like 2 or 3 stages after you choose them, but this one only has the stage, which is an auto-scroller, and then a series of boss fights.
Yeah, so
there's not too much going on this auto-scroller. There's all these enemies. You generally want to use the A weapon to keep them away, or you can just kind of barrel on through like this.
No, there's a reason that I do this.
Really? Yeah.
Like, so the problem with Chase Surrender is that this category has the least amount of RNG, but the main reset point aside from the first level is actually the elevator boss. The elevator boss has 3 like different patterns that he can use. He can either stick to the right wall, he can stick to the left wall, or he can stick up to the ceiling. And you actually want him to stick to the right wall because that's the fastest pattern that he can give you. And so one of the like OG runners of this game, Mr. King Fang, actually found out a way to consistently make the boss. Set him up so that he always sticks to the right wall.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Like, for it to work, you like as you can see here, he will stick to the right wall and starts spawning minions. We actually want that. I screwed up a little bit, but that's right. So in order for this to work, you need not to skip the professor dialogue at the beginning of the stage, and just hold right. That's basically it.
Okay. So that's why you were taking all those deaths.
Yeah. So with the US version of this game, there's a problem. There's just not enough lives to tank through this level. So this manip is pretty much out of the question for the runners of the US version.
Huh. Yeah, so Pashtet is on the final boss now.
Yeah, like the easiest of all of the final bosses in this game.
It's the easiest, and it's also really short.
Yeah. And also, this boss is not random at all. It's always fixed. And the time is coming up. And time. This run actually wasn't so bad, if not for the cheat mess up and other things. Like my PB on speedrun.com is 1452. My actual PB is 1440, but the footage for that run is screwed up, so I couldn't submit it. So what time is it? 1510. 1510 is pretty.
1510.
It's pretty alright time.
Nice run. Yeah,
very nice.
I'm more of a brownie runner, so I'm not the most experienced with Fang, but this was a lot of fun to watch, and it was fun learning about the Fang run and the manip, and your execution of the weapon switching is very impressive.
Mine was not the best. Like, the best runner of this game is actually an Australian runner that goes by the name of Sickpeak. He pulled off a run in the chase render category that is a minute faster than this run right here. So his machine is so good that he could like do the charge shot twice while he's jumping. I tried to learn that and I just couldn't make it. So that's why my run is significantly less cool than his. So
still very good.
Hey, still a good run. So
shoutouts to the Contra community, to the Contra Discord. Check the Discord out if you want to run any Contra game. Like, shoutouts to Mike Yama for actually co-commentating this, and shoutouts to the Blast Process, organizers for setting up this cool event and making things happen. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pashtet. Anything else you like to add about this game, or any other people?
Check this game out. It's safe to say that this game is pretty dead at this point, so some more new runners could actually help breathe a little bit of life into it. And it's a really cool game. It's a little bit underappreciated. Yeah, so that's it, I guess. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Yeah, no, this game is awesome. So yeah, thank you, Pashtet and Mike Yama, for playing and commentating for Contra Hardcore. Coming up next, we have a race.
Okay, well, looks like you're done.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I provide decent commentary.